As a middle school science teacher, you know I'm all about the brain breaks. I mean, I could throw out a bunch of stats to you about how middle school students need brain breaks in order to maximize learning, but if we're going to be perfectly honest, I don't just take the brain breaks for you. This girl needs them too. We learn a lot in science class, but there are days where you've really just got to have a little fun. I've been working on school all day. The weather is really nice outside, and I'm ready to just create and experiment and maybe even blow some things up. This lab's kind of fun because there's an artsy side to the lab, but we're also going to use science to make it happen. So let's go ahead and gather up some of our materials and we're going to head outside because this lab is way too messy to stay indoors. For this lab, you'll need food coloring, cornstarch, vinegar, baking soda, tissues, and some type of small canister. Chapstick, glue stick, film canister, Play-Doh, spice bottles, etc. We experimented with a variety of these canisters and found that certain ones worked better than others, but you won't know till you try. As you get started, you want to make sure you're in an outdoor space with plenty of room. First, you'll want to make the chalk paint base. You could make it one canister at a time, like the lab instructions say, but we found it easier to just make one big batch of the chalk paint and then add food coloring as we put it in each canister. You'll need a 2-to-1 ratio of vinegar to cornstarch. Once you have your chalk paint base, go ahead and start spooning just a little bit into each of your canisters. You could leave the chalk paint white, but if you want different colors, add just a few drops of food coloring to each of your containers. Once you have your paint rocket prepped and ready to go, make sure the area is clear, then drop a small piece of tissue or a small cap containing baking soda into the tube or canister. That slows down the reaction just a little bit, which gives you time to get out of the way. As fast as you can, snap the lid onto the tube, place it on the ground, cap down, and step back quickly.
I thought that'd be a good
That's
idea.
disgusting.
Watch as your rocket pops, spraying chalk paint as it goes. Be sure you're standing far enough back from the chalk rocket so it doesn't hit you. It may take a bit to launch, so don't go near it, even if it doesn't pop right away. As you can probably see here, you may have to practice a couple times before you really get the hang of it.
Oh.
No, I didn't screw it all the way. Ugh.
Oh, are you sunbathing? That's so cute. Alright.
This is the one.
I mean... it... Oh.
I don't like this.
My dad goes to the truck, okay? Oh! Of course.
Wait, no. It's gonna dissolve way too fast. Or not. Stop. If this seriously works.
No, I'm gonna...
No, it's leaking.
No. That was gonna be a good one, I could tell. I mean...
Okay, it still was. Do I need to shake it up more? Or not? Yes! Similar to what we saw in our carbon dioxide powered vehicles lab, when you add that baking soda base to the acidic vinegar, an acid-base chemical reaction occurs which produces carbon dioxide. Now, that gas builds up pressure inside your closed container until the lid just can't take it anymore and pops off. That mini explosion propels the rocket into the air and sprays the liquid all over. You could just stick with one color of paint, just to see how this all works, but if you have multiple colors of food coloring on hand, Try exploding different colored rockets over a sheet of paper or a poster or even just on the sidewalk. You might end up with some really cool splatter paint artwork. And come to think of it, people are all about the sidewalk chalk art during this COVID-19 quarantine. This could be kind of a cool spin on it. Hey, I hope you had fun and that this functioned as a really good brain break for you too. Have a fantastic rest of your day and know that you're loved.